friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. Well, we're home from the hunting camp, and we didn't get any deer yet. We're going to go back next weekend. But, you know, it's been rainy and cold and damp, and winter's coming, and I found this recipe that I just thought was amazing. And it's so simple. This recipe is for if you have a sore throat or a cold, or you just want a little bit of a boost on a cold day, you know. And it's really simple. You're going to need fresh ginger. You're going to need organic lemons. And the reason I say organic is because we will be using the skins. Okay, we'll be using the whole lemon. And I got lucky. And these were, now if you can't afford organic, folks, I mean, just scrub your lemons really well and make sure there's no pesticides or anything on them. But I got lucky. I got these big 5 beautiful lemons on sale for $3.99. And as you can see, there's a couple of spots on them that I'm just going to trim off like that. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to need 5 lemons. You make however many you want, but you're going to need some lemons. You're going to need some ginger, and you're going to need some honey. Now, this is our homestead honey from last year. We haven't finished processing our honey from this year. And this is one of those great times. I've got my lids in here. This is one of those great times where you can repurpose a glass jar, a spaghetti jar, or whatever. This was an Italian sauce tomato jar, and I have the lids because this is something that's going to be kept in your fridge, so you don't necessarily need to waste you know, you don't necessarily need to use your preserving jars. Now, what we're going to make is tea. Well, it's almost a jelly, really. And it's just lemons, ginger, and honey. And we're going to cut it all up and put it all together. And then you keep it in your fridge all winter long. And if you feel a sore throat coming on or a cold, you can just take a spoonful of the jelly and swallow it. Or you can put a big dollop in a cup and pour boiling water over it and drink it as a tea. Or you can add it to your black tea. It really doesn't matter how you take it, but it's going to do a wonderful job. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start by peeling these chunks of ginger. And I can't work with ginger without thinking of my niece Bronwyn, because she's a spice junkie. She really is, and it's wonderful because I'm the same way. So anyway, let's peel up this ginger, and when I've got the ginger peeled, we'll be back. Also, while you're peeling your ginger, honey never goes bad, folks. So all it can do is crystallize, and as you see, this is crystallizing a little bit. All you have to do to uncrystallize honey is to set it in a pot of boiled water or hot water. And another reason I'm doing this is not just because of the crystallization, is I'm going to be pouring it, and I want the honey at least warm. It will pour better, and it will also help with the leaching of all the wonderful nutrients out of the lemons and ginger. So while you're peeling your ginger, put your jars of honey in a pot and pour some boiling water in the pot and get that just warming up. Alrighty, our ginger has been peeled, and we're just going to start slicing it in nice thin slices. And the reason you want it thin, you can chunk it, I guess, but the nice thin slices means that the goodness and the, not just the flavor, but the goodness of the ginger and the flavor and all the juices has a better chance of coming out if it's sliced thin. You know, because if it's thick, it's, you know, the honey and the lemon juice and everything may not get all the way to the core of the piece of your ginger. And you really want all this wonderful gingery goodness. I'm using the wrong knife. This is a more appropriate knife. When you're cutting, folks, if you curl your fingers like this, you're less apt to cut the tip of a finger off when you're slicing things nice and thin. Now, like I said, they don't have to be micro thin or anything, but you want, you know, you don't want your slices probably any thicker than, say, 1/8 of an inch. There we go. See how nice and just like that. Now, the longer this sits in your fridge, the better it's going to be. However, it probably won't last that long. But whenever you get the chance to buy lemons, if they're on sale, or you know, you got some nice organic honey, you don't want pasteurized honey if you can help it. The more organic the ingredients, folks, the better they're going to be for you. That's all I can say. Okay? Organic means no pesticides, no herbicides, no fungicides, no chemical fertilizers, and no GMO. All right, so let's make sure we get the seeds out of these. Now these lemons are pretty big. We don't want the seeds in just because they'll add some bitterness. These are pretty big slices, so I may cut these in half, which I probably will because my jar's awful kind of small there. But you know what? I can still just, if I want, just drop them in like this. The bigger ones will go in. See how they go nice and on the bottom of that bottle? And I'm going to put in a piece of ginger. And we're just going to continue to alternate putting lemon slices. And you want your lemon slices to be thin as possible as well. Because what's going to happen is the longer this sits in your fridge, okay, the honey and the lemon and the ginger are going to eventually form a kind of loose jelly. And that, my friends, is delicious, nutritious, and a cold and flu fighter. Okay, so it may not cure the bubonic plague like a cut onion would. Anyway, just kidding. I don't want to get any emails over that. But it certainly can't hurt. Because back in the day, if I had a tickle in my throat, I never even tasted cough syrup. I'm not kidding, folks. Until I was probably 11 years old. And then it was Buckley's. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the name, but let's just put it this way. It was the cough medicine that tasted like horse liniment and camphor mixed together and then watered down. It was nasty, but that stuff worked. Even with bronchitis, that stuff worked. For me, it worked. I am not a medical doctor, therefore I cannot offer a proper medical opinion on any home remedies, medications, or store-bought medications. And we'll be back when I have both of these jars filled with sliced lemon and ginger. Okay, I double-checked my sources. And if you are making this in a jelly jar, a 1-cup jelly jar, then you would use enough sliced lemon to fill that jar, plus a piece of peeled ginger about the size of your middle finger, width, length, and thickness cut into little discs. So about a piece of ginger that big and about as thick as your thumb. But I winged it. I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyway, but what I got out of those 5 lemons and that nice big piece of ginger was 3 bottles. And you can already see the lemon juice coming in the bottle of the jar from being squished down. But you don't want them squished down too tight, because now what we're going to do is we're going to take our warm honey and we're just going to start drizzling it. Alrighty, I'm just going to take a spatula handle and I'm just going to go just as if I was debubbling. And this just helps if you push a spatula handle down in and pull it aside, and that will help your honey to get down in. And you want the honey to get down in around all your fruit and your ginger. And you don't have to have the cold and the flu to enjoy this lemon ginger honey syrup or tea or whatever it is you're going to use it for. You can use it as a spoonful of syrup. When I was a little girl, before I ever had cough medicine, if I had a tickle in my throat or a bit of a sore throat, my mother just popped a spoonful of honey right in my mouth. She didn't believe in store-bought medications unless it was absolutely necessary. It's just the way she was raised. All right, we'll be back when I have all the lids on this and it all tidied up. Alrighty, folks. Here's my 3 bottles of winter home remedy for sore throats and colds. Now, the reason they're standing on their heads is because I want to make sure that the honey gets all the way to the very bottom of the bottles. So, for the first couple of hours after you make this remedy, stand them on their heads and then put them in the fridge, and they are ready right away within 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours, and they'll only get stronger as the winter goes on. So make a couple of bottles that you want to let percolate in your fridge for throughout the winter, because this will be good any time of the year. All right, we'll see you in the morning when we try this out. Morning, folks. Here's my hot tea, and here's my lemon, honey, ginger syrup. Now it's gone from being really thick like honey to being more of a syrupy thing because of the lemon juice. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in my tea there. And I'll probably top it up with more honey. Cheers. Oh, it smells really good. Not bad at all, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more honey because there's a lot of lemon in here, but oh, that's lovely. Well, one more thing to add to the Good Health roster. Have a great day, folks. I'm sorry if I'm a little tired. It's 5 in the morning, so I'm going to just have my tea and start my day. Bye-bye.